Hello, you've reached the Department of Mara. This is Agent 16 speaking. How may I help you?
Yeah, can you come over here? He's on his internet, gossiping, running his mouth, all this stuff, neglecting his kids, neglecting his family. I don't understand what is going on, what's the problem, but he's gonna fool around and get shot up out here in these streets. I don't understand what is the problem.
If you a grown man speaking down on another man on the internet, you a weirdo. If you got a problem, tell him to his face. Please do us all a favor, step away from your cell phone. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. Yeah, R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. Yo, what happened to the world? R.I.P. the jackal. Hard not to knock the hustle, but y'all hustling backwards. When did telling on yourself become a thing? The only ones that know that you be trapped should be fiends. They pointing guns at the camera, yo, they must be hard. Hell no, man, they the softest ones. I'm from the era you don't pull unless you bustin'. MC Breed told me ain't no feature when you're frontin'. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back.
Throw up the hands, y'all. We rock best, y'all. The flow Teflon, and it sounds so nice. It's for the ones on the gram and the book going ham, but the man so shook that it sound like dice. Right? You bout as proven as pseudoscience. To you alliance with a few goons who's Billy Rubin's highest Jupiter skies, and I'm inclined to go scuba diving into who the food you and why, but foolish pride won't let you remove your disguise. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. And one monkey don't stop no show, so I'm campaigning cause it's time to bring them gorillas back. Check it raw, fake is making you martyrs. You can hate me today, but you gon' pay me tomorrow. Folks be trolling your page, looking for getting to borrow. Talk about running fades, knowing he ain't a borrower. Oh, just want to hammer to strike your starter, igniting all the fighting drama. You typing like you Titan or knight in armor, like you part of the Viking order, or more likely you might be piping harder than lightning farmers slowing their kites in August.
R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. Yeah, R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. I remember back in the days, some killers moved in silence. These guys move louder than Cali's finest. Don't look now, they're going live. Yelling at the camera, talking about a homicide. Tire played out Boosie, stupid whack. Don't you know that police look at that? They look at that. Computer thug at word to Roger Zach. This that royal set. The real is back. The real is back. The real is back. Yeah, R.I.P. the fake, the real is back. The real is back.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. How y'all doing tonight, man? Did y'all like the intro song? Did y'all like that? Shout out to Royal Sat. He blessed me straight from Oakland, man. I appreciate you. Y'all make sure to go subscribe to his channel. Good brother. That's all we've been doing, man. This past weekend, celebrate my birthday. Appreciate all of y'all that was, sending me shout outs, emailing me. Emailing me, it's greatly appreciated, y'all. And I will continue to, make y'all proud with my platform. Today we have a great episode. A lady by the name of Jessica Burns. She pretty much spearheaded this whole interview, and I just, sat by along the way. I felt like with this video, the intent is to raise awareness and push the conversation. So tonight we get ready to witness the interview, and afterwards I'm gonna have you guys come on and we're gonna have a conversation. I reached out to a bunch of dope content creators, brothers, some of your favorite, some you may not even know. I know I'm a fan of them, so get ready to have one hell of an episode, man. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like this, share this feed. Yeah, man. We get ready to get started. All right. I appreciate everybody waiting all day. Y'all been in the chat. It's crazy, man. But we about to tune into the episode. So without further ado, I present the Vax That Thing PSA Exposed. All right. So get your popcorn, get your get your papers, get your drink, and get ready to be settled. All right. I see y'all in the chat. Appreciate each and every one of y'all. And this is just episode 1, man. So that's how we doing. We evolving. But let's get it. All right. No further ado. That's the first time I heard that one before. Man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with Miss Lovely Jessica Burns. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me here. I appreciate it.
Listen, man. For those who don't know, Miss Burns watched one of my videos in regards to the Godfrey reaction to the Vax That Thing Up PSA. Oh, actually, it was Juvenile's PSA, but the whole world was just in total disbelief and shock reacting to this what was known as I guess a classic in the culture of hip hop. The original song "Back That Thing Up" now was turned into this campaign to push for the Black community to go ahead and partake in the vaccine. So what was your initial reaction when you seen this PSA?
I was disturbed by it, quite frankly. I grew up I'm an 80s baby,
Okay.
90s kid, so I was, like coming of age when, Back That Thing Up, like premiered. I remember when that came out and it was a massive, like dance anthem. And, when I saw it, I was confused at first because I was like, okay, is this like an SNL skit? Is this Funny or Die? I mean, what is this? And then I realized, oh my God, they're serious. And I was like, what would drive a megastar, like Juvenile, to come out and basically tarnish his own reputation, to poison that well? And a lot of people, everybody was asking, who's paying this guy? How much was he paid? And I was able to find out who was paying him, but I didn't quite find out how much he was paid, but it was enough for him to engage in this.
The shenanigans, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, sir.
Well, for the people who don't know, can you tell them a little bit about your background and what you do, so that way they just know you're not a person just trolling in the comment section, if you will?
Yes, that is correct. So I'm actually a data engineer by trade. I've spent a lot of time, in the field of mathematics. I've been a lead estimator. I've been a data analyst. I've been a business and planning analyst. I've been a lead scheduler for many probably major corporations that you've probably heard about. But that's what I do. And to me, uncovering the truth, finding out where threads lead is very important, because the how, like the why is more important than the how. Like, why is this happening, is more important than how is this happening. And for this, that thread goes deep, and it's not a conspiracy theory. It's actually very public. And a lot of the things that drive us often hide in plain sight.
That is so true. That is so true. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, y'all are in for a treat, because we're actually getting ready to comb through everything and really get to the bottom of this whole Vax That Thing Up campaign. We're going to talk about Black, the dating app, who they're originally owned by, who they're associated with, and what is their real intentions when it comes to pushing campaigns like this on our community. Because again, I would never encourage people to put something in their body. At the end of the day, we all have to make that sole decision on our own. Even when it comes to doctors, I would hope that they take that same approach, right? Because at the end of the day, everyone is different. Our body makeup and chemistry is different. So just because it works for one person doesn't necessarily mean that this vaccine could be beneficial to you. And just a little bit. I know some people that went to attempt to go get this vaccine here in Baltimore, right? Because again, it's not like there's a stigma for those who are getting it. Like at the end of the day, if you want to do what's best for you and your family, by all means, do what you got to do.
Right.
But the individuals that went down here, because there are a few testing sites here in Baltimore, it's the convention center. So you go to the convention center and there's I guess a line. You have to fill out some waiver forms and things of that nature. And this paperwork, okay, I have proof, guys, of the actual paperwork that is given to you before you take the vaccine. Wow. And in this paperwork, okay, it's telling you that this is an experimental vaccine, that it's not sanctioned, right, or green lighted by the FDA. And even the people that's administering the vaccine to you aren't even taking it. They're opting out. So can you imagine thinking that you're doing something beneficial for you and your family, and you go into what is deemed a camp of some sort? Can you imagine the mental of an individual going in there thinking, man, I'm actually thinking that I'm doing something great, but why do I feel so wrong? Like,
right.
It's just mind-boggling to me that they're going through great lengths specifically to push this on our community and our community only, when there are so many different issues that affect us outside of just needing to take the vaccine, right?
Absolutely. And the thing is, and we'll, I cover this, but the community being targeted, which is specifically Black Americans, is not necessarily the majority that, is not taking this vaccine. Mm-hmm. The rural whites are the ones who are primarily not taking it in deep red, parts of the country. So why this particular effort wasn't leveraged, I don't know, using, say, a country Western song? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, let's, we can speculate on that all day, but the fact is it wasn't. They used specifically this song, this vehicle that they know is has significant, significance to Black millennials, and that's concerning. That should concern anybody.
Yeah, that's true. What really didn't sit well with me was as if in the campaign of Vax That Thing Up, it confused me because of the message.
Yes.
You give the implication that somehow this vaccine can prevent you from contracting STI or STD. And, is that even, remotely close to what this vaccine can do in our community? I don't even think that it can prevent you from, getting a disease when, having unprotected sex. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely not. I mean, they're drawing a false equivalency of, Vax That Thing Up, is going to protect you from, at the point where you're actually engaging in intercourse with another person, COVID is probably the least of your worries. Right. I mean, wrap it up, STDs, STIs, there's HIV is still out there. That's still a thing. Yeah. That'll cut you down a lot faster than COVID will. And, it really is quite sad that they decided to equate getting this vaccine with having a lot of, having a lot of sex with multiple partners.
Right.
What?
Right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's the one thing that didn't sit well with me, that bothered me the most. I just, sitting here, it's not like this is the first time. We've seen many commercials, ads that's been very embarrassing. It kind of reminds me of tax season. There's always, this is how we do it. Montel Jordan. There's always some type of commercial with some type of 90s hit song to kind of, encourage people to go out there and file their taxes with H&R. We've seen athletes partake in Popeyes commercials with biscuits on their head. I mean, we've seen some pretty wild things when it comes to promoting corporate brands and things of that nature. But this one right here takes the cake. You're risking your health when you put experimental drugs within your body, man. So let's get started.
Sure.
Let's go ahead and talk about the first document that we
Yes, sir.
have. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you for being patient.
Of course, absolutely.
Can you see the screen?
I can certainly see your screen. Yes, I can see it moving up and down.
All right. Now, again, for those who don't know, Black is a app, catered to the Black community. What are your thoughts about this app? And why is it called Black in your opinion? What is the intent and purpose of that?
So Black, as it's being marketed, especially in the whole Vax That Thang Up campaign, was supposed to be Black's coming out party, because before they came out with this was their biggest social media grab to date. They were doing mostly skits that didn't garner a whole lot of attention. Maybe they'd get a couple, handful of thousand views or something. This is the first video in which they've actually gotten millions upon millions of views. And so basically this is kind of their coming out party. However, they're trying to portray themselves as being independent and Black owned, which of course, as we all well know, after the death of George Floyd and the civil unrest that happened last summer, is a really hot commodity right now, especially with, let's just say it, white companies who are trying to save face or to virtue signal, is to support Black owned, businesses and, Black founders and that sort of thing. And so that's what this is really leaning into. However, that is not the case. It is not Black owned. It is not independent. And the person who's actually the face of this, although it is a Black man, is actually working for a majority white corporation.
Wow. Well, as you can see here on the screen, guys, the actual corporation or company that owns Black, the actual app is Affinity Apps LLC.
Correct.
Can you explain to these to the subscribers how you came across this this information?
Yes, certainly. So I went to the Black BLK website, because I'm also a web developer as well. I've made a lot of websites in my day. And, one of the things that I look for when I'm, when I go to a corporate website is to look for their about us, or their corporate information, because that's where you're going to find jobs. That's where you're going to find shareholder information. And that's generally held in the footer. And so I went to the footer and I found absolutely nothing. I basically went down there and I found, terms of service, a bunch of legalese, and that I would expect, but generally you also see, hey, here's our corporate leadership team, because that's who venture capitalists are, putting their weight behind, is the team. And I didn't see anything about a team. I didn't see anything. Basically, there was just a contact us, which led to a web form that you could fill out. And I was like, okay, well, this is kind of strange. And then I went a little bit higher than the footer and I found that it was copyright 2021, Affinity, well, actually, if we scroll up a little bit in the documentation.
Okay. Is that better?
Up a little bit.
A little bit more.
To the top.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. That's quite all right. Yeah, up more. Yes, there you go.
Okay.
See, copyright 2021 Affinity Apps. It's very strange because I actually own an LLC. I'm a small business owner as well. Okay. And I know that, generally when you're your own entity, you don't reference other entities copywriting your own material.
Right.
You know,
Right.
even if you hire somebody to, you know, like make your web app for you, you know, like it'll say, you know, like powered by blah 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 company, not
Right.
copyright by that company. And so I said, okay, so this is clearly a child company. This is not an independent entity. This is something else.
Correct.
And
Correct.
so I started doing some research on, you know, affinity apps, and I went to their Facebook page, or sorry, to their Apple Store page, as well as their Google Play page. And the Google Play
Okay.
page, I found an address. So I kept that in the back of my pocket. Then I
Okay.
went to the Apple Play Store, and that's where I found something very interesting. If you scroll down a little bit, we'll actually see that Affinity Apps LLC actually owns BLK,
Mm-hmm.
Dating for Black, that's targeting the you know, Black American community.
Correct.
Chispa, which is targeting the Latinx community,
Mm-hmm.
and Upward, which is a white Christian dating community. Yes.
Interesting.
So now we actually have these 3 different apps targeting very different demographics,
Right.
with very different, and that's the thing, like if you're in data, then you understand that as you break down different communities or neighborhoods, you'll start to see different patterns emerge. And so BLK is going to act different than Chispa, is going to act different than Upward.
Right.
So I said, okay, well, that's interesting that they're doing this kind of, you know, targeting, which makes sense. I mean, their name is Affinity Apps.
Right.
And so I decided to look up Affinity Apps and look up who is actually in charge. So I
Oh.
found their articles of incorporation, which have to be kept up to date with the
Mhm.
state that they're incorporated in, which in this case is Texas. And, you know, I found a bunch of their major directors and vice presidents. And those are all the people in yellow here. And I found that the address listed for Affinity Apps matches the address that's listed on the Google Play Store
Okay.
for BLK.
Okay.
Exact match.
Mm.
So I decided to look up, okay, who are these directors and officers, right? Because for
Right.
my business, I am director and I am an officer, right?
Okay.
And so you only put the top players up here. These are people who have financial and legal decision-making ability.
Correct. Yeah.
So I went ahead and I looked up the people who are highlighted in green here. And I was trying to see what the common thread was between them. So if we scroll down a little bit,
Okay.
Alexis Willis,
Hmm.
Match.com, experience tax director. Okay. Mandy Ginsburg. Let's go down. Dallas, Texas. Again, same address as Affinity Apps LLC, same as BLK.
Right.
And what's her Match.com? In fact, she actually mentions Match Affinity.
Yeah, you said down here highlighted at the bottom.
Yes, sir. And actually, OkCupid, Plenty of Fish. So this is a person who knows a lot about the online dating space.
Correct. That's true.
Amaranth Tobre. I hope I'm saying that name
Hey,
properly.
you're better than me.
Again, we have Match Group. We're starting to see a pattern emerge.
Yes, I was going to say, what is up with this Match Group? What is up with that?
So Match Group actually owns OkCupid, owns Match.com, owns Plenty of Fish.
Okay.
And you'll see, again, this person references Match Affinity, and they're located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, which is where the location of the headquarters of, Match and BLK is.
Okay. Okay.
Brittany Perez, Tinder. Oh, okay. So if we go ahead and scroll down, oh, look, also Match.com.
Come on, y'all.
There we go. Match Group.
6 years and 7 months of experience
Correct.
with the company. And everything is here, guys. It's all documented. All
Yes.
receipts. As you can see, Miss Burns is very serious. She does not play when it comes to her work.
Absolutely not. I always bring receipts or else I don't come at all. Francisco Paco Villamar, also Match Group.
VP, Associate General Counsel.
Yes,
Harvard Law School, but once again connected to the Match Group.
that's correct. Gary Swidler, Match Group. He's a COO. Now, granted, he's not located in Dallas. He's actually a New York guy. But
Okay.
given that he's a COO and a CFO, I would definitely expect that for a major corporation like Match Group to have somebody located in New York in the financial heart of the United States.
Right. It just it makes me wonder, do they ever cross, promote with them having, connection with those 3 dating apps? Or do they make an effort to make sure that, these different demographics don't know that they're being owned by Infinity Apps LLC? I'm just curious.
They take very good care to obfuscate that as much as possible. Here we are, Kimbre Neihart, which was the last person that I believe I profiled. Again, Match.com. And you'll notice that none of these people are Black. None of them. This is not a Black-owned company. This is a brand that is owned by Match.com. That's who paid Juvenile to do this embarrassing shambolic song and video.
So who is this Jonathan Kirkland, marketing executive? Who is this guy?
Ah, yes. Now, this is the Black face of BLK. This is the person that they send out for the press junkets. This is the person that they set out as the, person who is in charge. Now, granted, he is an executive. He's a marketing executive, but he is not pulling the strings. This is an employee of Match.com, because as you'll see, he's also located in Dallas, Texas, working for Match.com.
Wow.
Full time. And see, he's in charge of marketing brand activations for BLK dating and lifestyle app. Now, granted, this person actually wanted to launch a marketplace where people of the African diaspora, Black people, could come together to talk about things like systemic racism and hair care, things that actually affect us in the day-to-day. But because he works for Match.com, they said, bump all that.
Right.
You are going to promote this dating app for Black people. Wow. And so he had to say, because they control the bag, they control the legal, he has to, when they say jump, he has to say how high.
Yeah.
Which is sad, because they're putting it out there that this individual is in charge of everything when he's not.
Yeah. And of course, it's partly the reason why they recruited someone like Juvenile. Yes. Because again, our culture, our community, we might not be very familiar with Mr. Kirkland here. So why not get in Hip Hop Act, the oldest trick in the book, something they've been using over and over again every decade. I mean, you can go back and see James Brown, once upon a time, was manipulated by politicians. And some would say it kind of hurt his brand, after collabing with politicians, after, they had their own selfish agenda and game. It just happens, man. It happens all the time.
Well, it's the oldest trick in the book, especially when it comes to African-American culture and, the community. If this person, Jonathan, isn't a dumb guy. He's not. I mean, he's a marketing executive, which means he knows his demographics. He knows his numbers. He understands who he's marketing to and the most effective way to market to them. And sadly, the most effective way to market to the majority of African Americans is by using celebrities. That's why, like you have a presidential candidate Joe Biden going on the Breakfast Club and talking with Cardi B, as opposed to predominant Black scholars.
Right.
And they
right.
don't do this with any other group of people on the planet. You will never see a group of, like Jewish people being marketed to using, some type
Actors.
of, some type of
Entertainers.
celebrity.
Right.
No,
Right.
absolutely not. They will come correct, and they will come with actual policies and facts about how they're going to help the Jewish community. You're not going to see them approach Asians this way. Absolutely not. You're not going to see them promote this to, even Latinx people this way. No, they're not going to like hire like the greatest, the latest and greatest entertainer or sports figure. No, they're going to talk to Latinx professors, and they're going to say, what are you doing about our bag? What are you doing, to protect us? What are you doing? What are your policies? I want to see it in writing, in black and white. And sadly, we don't demand that, which is absolutely confounding to me, that we don't demand more, that we don't say, you know what? We built this country.
Exactly.
You were brought here to build this country, and you're basically throwing us a bunch of butter biscuits, to a bunch of celebrities who, my God, Cardi B actually went during her talk with Joe. How embarrassing.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely embarrassing.
That's so true. You're right.
No, and nobody else would be pandered to in this way. Nobody.
You speak, volumes on so many points, man. And you're right. We should have only intellectual minds, that speak on our behalf, because at the end of the day, they're the only ones that, are really suit and fit for real conversations. When you're an entertainer or athlete, to a degree, you are compromised because you are an employee for someone else, meaning that once you sign that contract, you have to do what's best for your employer.
Yes.
So you see a lot of people in the celebrity limelight that get put in these positions to help kind of soften the blow of criticism that is very warranted when we're talking about our community off of the many agendas that's happened, what transpired in our communities over the past several decades. I mean, it's ongoing, but hip hop is always one of the very most exploited tools that they always use when it comes to influencing our communities and our communities only, especially the youth,
Yes, absolutely. And they know this. Jonathan knows this. And that's why he specifically chose this song, because people, like, I hate to call us older millennials, but I mean, like the millennial, generation of, Black people grew up in the Cash Money era, grew up in the, death row era. I mean, granted, we were kind of younger when death row was like at the peak, but like we were definitely in high school for sure when Cash Money was all the rage, and
in their prime, right?
Exactly, when they were in their prime, like when Juvenile was actually relevant. I mean,
yeah, that's very true. He was actually the first one before Lil Wayne. He was still young. So this song, it's a reason why they chose this song, these artists. In your opinion, why do you think this was a bad idea to reach out to Juvenile, use this song to help promote, getting a vaccine, but masking it in the form of a Black dating app?
Well, I mean, everybody pretty much, I mean, if you take a look at the like-dislike ratio, I mean, this song and video got absolutely bodied. Oh my goodness. Look at that. 19K down, 15K. I mean, I almost want to like shield children, like, don't look at them. They're like they're getting bodied, they're getting ratioed, And I mean, this is just absolutely embarrassing. Twerking all over as though that's all we're all about.
Right.
I mean, you even have the nurse
right.
twerking.
The phlebotomist, yes.
And he's throwing around, like the paper,
vaccine cards. I think those are the cards, right?
Yeah, like he's at the strip club, like making it rain. What? absolutely sad. And the thing is that, you know, I know that they went to, oh goodness, not, let's see here. Actually, it was Lil Wayne who was actually on the track originally, but they approached
Correct.
him for
Right.
this, and he said, absolutely not.
I wonder why. I wonder why.
His bag is actually not hurting nearly as much as Juvenile's, because like I said, Juvenile hasn't been relevant for, I mean, in the past 20 years, have you heard of him doing anything?
Oh man.
No.
Yeah,
I've heard of
not
Lil
to the
Wayne
magnitude of you know, his classic music in his prime, no.
Absolutely not. So this guy was hurting for a bag. And so basically Jonathan drove a dump truck full of money up to his house along with some really crappy lyrics and cringeworthy. I mean, who the hell is Scott? Smash with Scott? What are you talking about?
You know what's funny? It's funny because of course Lil Wayne would turn it down because of the whole criticism he faced, you know, taking a picture with Trump. He went through a lot. So of course he wasn't doing any publicity work or anything of that nature because he had to pretty much come back around and repair his his image that was already damaged by taking pictures with individuals that were largely hated by the culture of hip hop, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he can certainly have his own political leanings. That's fine. These folks can have their own political leaning. That is fine. However, it is important to know that there is a much larger system in place that is pulling the puppet strings. Right. And that is what you actually need to focus on. Look at this. I mean, there's one woman who literally is like on top of this, cage dancing like, I hate to say it, a literal monkey, which is absolutely disgusting. This is how they see us. This is crazy.
But that was the clip that got me, the phlebotomist dancing with the face guard on.
No, absolutely not.
Is this what's really going on at the vaccine stations? Come
absolutely
on, guys.
Not. And the thing is that this actually was as I looked more and more into this, I was like, okay, well, I can understand, that, Match.com did this, but why? Right. Was it something that was going to intrinsically help their engagement online, or was this something else? And as it turns out, it's both. So basically, back in May of this year, May of 2021, the Biden administration announced that they were going to partner with Tinder, Match.com, and a few other dating platforms to promote the vaccine, because that is part of their agenda. That is part of the Democratic Party's win strategy for COVID-19, is to basically get 70% of the United States population vaccinated. And so they said, we're going to partner with these groups with these platforms in order to achieve this goal, which would be a political win for us. And so basically what they did was they paid Match.com an offset for them to convert people to vaccinated status. And so they told them, yeah, we're going to do this. They didn't tell them how they were going to do it. That's how people like people like Jonathan come into play, because they know the how, because they have that granular data. But this was a play by the Democratic Party to get more Black people specifically vaccinated. And this was around the same time, because this video came out the same day that they said they were going to go door to door.
There you go. I was getting ready to bring that up.
Door to door, asking, if you're vaccinated or not. And first of all, isn't HIPAA still a thing?
For those who don't know, explain what HIPAA is.
So HIPAA is basically privacy laws surrounding your personal medical information. Like if, say, somebody had cancer, you are not obligated to disclose your status as a cancer patient, because that and no one can sell that information off, because that would violate your HIPAA, privacy rights. That
Right,
would
right.
violate your rights. Going door to door asking, people if they're vaccinated, that would violate your rights. Same with your employer, because I know a lot of employers are requiring that people get vaccinated. That's a violation of your rights if your employer asks you if you are vaccinated or not. It is none of their business. It is your personal medical information.
Yes, that's so true. But of course, this country has no problem with violating people's rights. Long history of that, especially when it comes to Black people in
Yes, sir.
America. I noticed up here on the screen, you spoke about the one ad that I definitely remember. How could we forget? You mentioned all the other ads, but we did not talk about the "Get Your Booty to the Polls."
Oh my
Wow,
goodness.
I forgot
Goodness
about that one. I
gracious.
tried to delete that out of my head because at that
Yes.
time, once again, we're talking about, Jedi mind tricks, guys. They're distracting you with the allure of women strippers dancing, as if this is automatically gonna lure you over there to the polls to vote for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I mean,
Yes.
what were your thoughts on that PSA?
So that one too disturbed me, because I was like, okay, get your booty to the polls. First of all, they would never, ever advertise to white people in that way. They would never, because to them, to corporate America, Black men specifically are animals. They are animals who are children, who must be kept in a perpetual state of childhood. That's why you'll see a lot of these rappers with names like Lil or Baby, or like they're trying to basically infantilize Black men, which is absolutely horrendous and disgusting.
Yeah.
And the only thing that motivates Black men is parties, sex, and celebrities. And so that's why "Get Your Booty to the Polls" was also, like they're like, oh well, a Black woman, like was behind. No, 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 no. If you dug deeper, you would notice that the Democratic Party was behind the purse strings for that as well.
Wow. You see that, guys?
They paid her to be the black face of this.
See, man, y'all have to be hip to the games that's being played on our people. They don't go through these great lengths for no reason. It's a reason
Right.
why they put this, this BS together with these campaigns specifically catered to our communities. I mean,
Yes.
and again, like you said, you have to sit and ask yourself, well, damn, how does this country really view Black people if they think that this is the only way to get our attention? We are civilized human beings, and
Yes.
it is disrespectful to insinuate that the only way we can be motivated is through these, these avenues, these course of action. It's very disgusting, if you ask me.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. I mean, the "get your booty to the polls" and, vax that thang up. I mean, they're basically like using sex to sell whatever the, political party paying for it wants, and so, there's actually, you can actually, I'm a big fan of Rage Against the Machine.
Okay.
And, I grew up on that music. And
I remember when they had their run in the late 90s, 2000s. I
yes,
remember.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Tom Morello, Zach De La Roca, fabulous. And there was actually especially in the early 90s, when rap as a genre was just taking off,
Right.
there was a lot of consternation and concern. Oh, this music is dangerous. This music is, worrisome. This music is, like going to destroy the fabric of society. Oh, like there was this, like entire pearl clutching that happened. I remember watching it on the news as, like in my preteen years, going, I wonder what the fuss is all about.
Right.
And so what happened was there was actually a meeting where a lot of high-ranking politicians decided that hip hop and rap, the emerging art form, would be used as a weapon. It would be weaponized against the Black community. They said, we cannot control this, but we can steer it.
That's so true. That is so true. It's bittersweet, right? Because hip hop is very influential in my life. My father, he pretty much had it playing around me constantly as a child, even house music from Chicago, late 80s, things of that nature. But hip hop has always, been a great deal of influence in my life. And, some of my favorite groups, Brand Nubian, Tribe Called Quest, Poor Righteous Teachers, X-Clan, so many of those conscious rap groups that existed in the early 90s. And unfortunately, NWA comes out and they show you the harsher realities of America for the first time. And again, you look at NWA, who are just a group of brothers coming from, impoverished communities trying to better their situations. They're no different from the artists that we see today. Of course, it's 2021, but similar situation. No one knew that the impact would be, as large as it was when they first came out.
Absolutely.
And when you really look and see where NWA got all of that imagery from, a lot of that stuff is from mob movies and things of that nature. It wasn't even from Black people,
That's why everybody's favorite movie is Scarface, right?
There you go. There you go. Al Capone, things of that. A lot of that stuff is a mob mentality where we're emulating a lifestyle that was depicted by white people.
Yes. Or even the blaxploitation films of the 1960s, the whole pimp culture. Yeah. I mean, you hear it a lot. I mean, I loved it when rap was conscious, when rap, was like, who you calling a B,
Right.
It was about demanding respect and standing in your own power. And then it devolved into, like just being, like drugs, like Percocets, lean. And it's like, what kind of messaging are you sending out there to our young people today? This worship of drug culture, which will kill you, faster than anything.
Right.
Or it leads nowhere good. Right.
Yeah.
And, versus positive messaging, which, I mean, that's kind of where they lost me, but I still have a great deal of respect for the art form itself, as well as a lot of nostalgia for that really positive era. And there's still very positive role models today, like Toby Ngwegwe.
Toby, yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that to you. I didn't know how to say his last name.
Man. Yeah, Fi.
He's good. He's
great. I mean, absolutely. I mean, he's like, if you book me for a show and I can't bring my wife and my children, I'm out.
Right.
Strong Black families, strong, respect for his wife, respect for his children.
Yeah.
That is the kind of messaging that we need. That is the kind of messaging that is goes the longest way to healing our communities, because we've been dealt a really shitty hand. A very crappy hand.
Right.
Throughout the history of the United States of America. And the zenith of our power was in the 1960s, when the Black family was, this was before the crack epidemic. This was before the, school to prison pipeline. This was before mass incarceration. And, after the 1960s, after the, assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., after the assassination of Malcolm X, they decided that, we're going to throw these people a bone, right? The Voting Rights Act and, the, amendments to the Constitution. But we will never let Black, people's agenda take dominance ever again.
Wow. That's why I said, man, a lot of people, if you're not familiar, if you're watching tonight, man, study COINTELPRO, okay? Understand that, you have to study your opponent, all right? We're on a battlefield. And I'm a chess player, okay? I've played chess since I was a kid. I was on a chess team once upon a time.
Nice.
in middle school, and it was one of them things where, coming from where I came from, you know, I felt like I had a chip on my shoulder. You know, I'm coming from the hood. What hood kid played chess? So that was kind of like my motivation. But naturally, man, you have to be a critical thinker. You have to, you know, be able to see moves, you know, 2, 3, 4 moves ahead. And honestly, in my opinion, you know, like you said, in the 90s, it seemed like it was working. A lot of hip hop acts were encouraging black kids to go to black colleges. They
Yeah.
were speaking on a lot of our scholars, right? And our teachers and elders of that nature. And I feel like, you know, ever since they infiltrated that, they've been hell bent on making sure that the culture does the opposite of what it did in the 90s. So basically trying to reverse the impact that was created in the 90s. And it's still, this is how you know it's so powerful, because we're still talking about it in 2021. You know, those hip hop acts and those artists that was able to see the oppressor and his tricks miles away, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why you have, you know, like artists like Lil Nas X twerking on the devil, and
Wow.
the promotion of designer stuff that is, you know, basically created by white people who, you know, specifically have said, you know, like, we don't want black people wearing this stuff. We don't black people, you know, like drinking our fine wine,
Right,
and it's
right.
like, all right, so then why are you giving them your money, especially for a depreciating asset, you know? I mean, we got to talk about ownership. We have to talk about fiscal responsibility. I know these aren't sexy topics, but that is the only way you get out. That is the only way you get off the corporate plantation,
Mm,
and that is the only way you get unstuck, is through ownership.
that's so true. Um,
Yeah.
and it's funny because there was a shift within our culture this past
Yes.
election, because, you know, I guess, how can I say this? Certain people in politics, they either want you voting left or right.
Yes, that is
And
correct.
when you don't vote one candidate, then that automatically assumes that you're for the other, which is completely idiotic to me, right? I think
Right.
the position that we're in 2021, we have to listen to everyone. Okay,
Yes.
we need to know what works for us and what doesn't. Who can give us results, right? Tangible things. That's what you were talking about earlier. All
Yes,
right,
sir.
tangibility. We need things that's going to really have an effect on our communities, not things of this nature where you're just completely pandering to our communities. You're willing to do all of this, you know, BS, but you're not willing to actually do what's necessary to
Yes.
improve the conditions of these impoverished communities. That's, you know, really, like you said, a reflection from the 50s and the 60s over here in Baltimore. Some of these homes, man, you know,
Oh,
there
yes.
there have been several riots, not just the Freddie Gray riot. You know,
Yeah.
generationally, we wouldn't know that if we didn't know our history on redlining and all the other agendas that you spoke on earlier. That, you know, it's just generationally we've been through a lot as black folks collectively, man.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, like I said, there's a push right now, ever since, you know, all of these woke companies, came out and, you know, put up a black, you know, square on their Instagram page or on their Twitter feed and said, "We're listening and we're helping." And I was like, I mean, if this were really front and center for you, it would be solved already. Because I know what moves corporate America. It's dollars.
Hmm.
That's it. That's it. Like maximizing shareholder profit, period. And so that's why, like having, people like Jonathan, uh is really in the best interest of these corporations, because then they can actually score woke points without actually having to do a damn thing. Like, actually what you're seeing here is
Hmm.
an experiment that I tried
Okay.
on the BLK YouTube page, because they
All
have
right.
their own YouTube page. Like I said earlier, they were posting just skits, and no one was really paying attention until they did backs that thing up. But if you mention Match.com,
Hmm.
that gets deleted immediately.
Wow. Y'all see that,
Yes.
y'all? So go ahead on over there and drop match.com in the comment section and see for yourself, man.
Yes, I actually like posted like, like, so how much did Match pay you? Or like, did you, like wait for your match.com, like check to clear before you did this abomination? And instantly deleted. But if I posted, like, oh man, this rules,
Right.
stays up.
So that goes to
So
show that someone's over there
yes,
monitoring those comments, filtering anything that's associated with Match.com, which now you have to ask, well, why don't you want the world to know who
exactly.
you're associated with? What's the problem here?
Exactly. And that's like the they don't want you to draw the line back that this isn't Black owned. This is a Black employee who's acting on behalf of a white corporation who is acting on behalf of the Democratic Party.
Right, right.
They don't want you to draw that line because that's a dangerous line to draw.
Guess you threaten the corporate dollars, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if they're like, wait a minute, this isn't, this is time in memoriam. I mean, if you'll remember during the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, I'm not going to call it an actual experiment because there was nothing scientific about it. It was just a bunch of ridiculousness. They had to put a Black face to it.
Mm-hmm.
Nurse Eunice Rivers, who actually was, like these were mostly rural men who were like, can we, if a white doctor had come up to them and said, hey, come and get this shot, just, trust me, they would have been like, no, I'm good. Why? But they sent a woman who is Black to assuage their fears and to say, you know what? I'm one of you. You can trust me. This is good for you. This is good for us. And as a result, they got syphilis and passed it on to their family. And people like to think that, oh, this is such a long time ago. It's like generations ago. No. I was born in 1982. Mm-hmm. This experiment was only stopped in 1970. 1970, like 12 years before I was born.
Something that I'm sure that they'll be taking out the history books. Don't worry, guys.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is like I remember doing a project on this at my high school about I watched the movie Miss Evers' Boys.
Okay,
and
I
wanted to learn
that.
more about this person. So I did research on Eunice Rivers, the real person, who, by the way, ended up fading into obscurity, when all this came to light. She just kind of, when all this came out. But I mean, like she knew what was going on. I mean, penicillin had been around since the 1940s. Why do you need another 30 some odd years to verify what you already know, which is how syphilis progresses untreated,
right,
in a population, and then their family members get sick, their children get sick, their wives get sick. Absolutely disgusting. And so now you have the same thing of this,
agenda.
The white, like medical establishment was behind that. This is a white political establishment is behind this. Hey, go get this vaccine. This vaccine isn't, and they're using a Black face to sell it.
Right.
Nothing has changed. This playbook is the same.
It's like you said, it's not shocking at all. But for the youngsters that's not hip to this, man, y'all have to get equipped because you guys are going to be old too, and the history is important to know it. Like you said, you grew up in the 80s, so you're more privy to the truth and not what's being shared on these platforms, okay? Because there is an effort to control the narrative, censor the real truth, add a little spin to it. They done, pretty much whitewash slavery, downed it to immigrants looking for work. So you have to be mindful of the tricks that they play to kind of rewrite all the wrongs that they did to us in this country, man.
Oh, absolutely. I remember being taught that whole garbage of, oh, like founding fathers came here to escape religious, persecution. BS. They came here. They were actually trying to establish a secular, nation to financially profit. I mean, these weren't the Jews escaping some pogrom or, anything like that. No, these were basically like white British men and women who wanted to go, like have a secular place where they could financially enrich themselves. That's it.
So, in your
Bad.
opinion, how do we avoid these Jedi mind tricks, these puppeteering acts moving forward? Of course, I'm a type of individual that questions everything at this point. That's why I'm always willing to have a conversation, regardless if we subscribe to different ideologies and things of that nature, lifestyles, because sometimes you just never know when information will become useful. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, maybe 10 years from now. You're like, wait a minute, let me go back to the vault, let me go to the file, think, okay. And you're able to kind of connect the dots. So in your opinion, how do we avoid these things moving forward?
So I think it's important to always be curious. Curiosity is really what, will drive us to dig deeper, listening to the stories of our elders, because trust me, they will do anything to whitewash and, apologize, for, and I mean, apologize, like be apologists for the ills that they have done to us and our community, by trying to gaslight us. And by listening to your elders and listening to their stories, because I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, well, like slavery wasn't that bad. They treated them real well. It's like that Boondocks episode, like where everyone's like drinking like, melon martinis and like patty cake,
Right.
No, it was nothing like that. I mean, get out of here.
Right.
What? And so there is a lot of that's going on. I mean, you'll see, especially people on the political right, up in arms about, like teaching the actual history of the United States, saying that, oh, the founding fathers were totally against slavery. Have you been to Mount Vernon? There's slave quarters there. That was George Washington's house. Why are there slave quarters there if he's so against slavery?
I mean,
the hell are you talking about?
To be honest, I don't know if anyone knows this, but some of them have black children, guys.
Yes, they do.
They don't talk about that, but DNA shows that they were doing a lot of how can I say this? Sexually assaulting,
slave rape, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know why this is such a shock, to folks. I mean, a lot of us came from the West African coast, from Cote d'Ivoire, from Ghana, from Nigeria, from the Congo. And the last names there aren't, Burns, aren't King, right, aren't Smith, aren't Jackson, aren't Johnson. No, not at all. I mean, like, and there's this horrible portrayal of, like black men as these, like sex starved savages who cannot keep their hands off of white women, and, like Birth of a Nation and all that other type of garbage. And really, the real threat was actually white men raping black women.
Come on, y'all.
Because it was passed down through the paternal lineage is a lot of our European ancestry, which is anywhere between 20 and 40% for most African Americans. Who's doing the raping now?
Listen, here in Maryland, I mean, we're like, if not number one in incest. Gotcha. So it's a lot of sickness that, historically has been happening that, major news outlets, media outlets, they're, they're pretty much banned from speaking on. Even
Yes, they are.
something of lynchings. They speak on lynchings as if this is a thing that occurred hundreds of years ago, right? When there are people that are being beaten to death first,
yes,
and then they want to sell this lie as if someone would do that to themselves and then hang themselves. I mean, you got to pay attention, y'all.
Absolutely wild. I mean, like there was that one girl who was actually found tied to a tree after being lynched. And, I guess she did it to herself. She killed herself and then tied herself to a tree. Did her ghost come back and like reanimate her corpse to like tie up these absolutely insane. And then they're like, well, suicide, case closed.
Yeah, that's true.
No, absolutely not. Life in America is so stressful, you guys. It's important that we know our history, and it's important that we understand, like who's driving the bus, That's why I decided to go into analytics, the field that I'm in right now. That's why I decided to, and we really need more data scientists. We need more data engineers. We need more analysts.
Yes.
Because we're by these algorithms, we're getting run over. And I've been watching this for decades. And I've, been like, does anyone see this happening? Because I used to work for a major tech company. And I remember seeing a movie called Bias, which is a great movie. I would definitely recommend that folks watch it. And basically it is about the algorithms that power our lives right now, not in the future. That's happening now. And basically like it was like I was the only Black person in the room, and mostly like whites and Asians. And they were like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that our algorithms could be so biased. And I was like, I could. I mean, the guy who actually created the algorithm for the compass line tool that was being used to determine recidivism rates for inmates, basically never updated his algorithms, even though they were disproportionately sentencing Black and Latinx people to more time when they wouldn't necessarily reoffend, and sentencing whites to probation or just outright, get rid of it, and the guy basically, when confronted with this information, like, hey, this is really negatively impacting people's lives and it's very lopsided and biased, said, like, hey, shouldn't you upgrade this or, like update it? And he said, yeah, well, I should also clean under my bed. So flippant.
Well, you see how even something like the platform of YouTube, man, you can raise so many questions, and the first thing that they will say is it's the algorithms, and that is just a complete cop out.
It's a cop out.
Yes, when you realize that the algorithm is man-made.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And the data is also, like based on history. I mean, I remember like showing my creating a recommendation engine for my manager, at this big tech company, and he was like, so wait a minute, you're gonna tell me what I'm gonna do based on what I did in my past? And I said, it's math, it's not magic.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. So if you have a racist system that, like, and we know it's systemically racist,
right?
Like basically as all the data points, guess what? When you feed it, it's gonna basically recreate that reality.
Yeah.
We need more Black people, more people of the African diaspora in, basically coming into these spaces, because no one's going to stand up for us but us. Period.
That's so true. Again, if you can explain to the guests the importance of what it is that you do and why it's needed in our community outside of just athletes, entertainers,
Certainly, we need to demand. And I actually really like that the president of BET actually said, look, stop talking, Juneteenth as a holiday is fine, but you can take all that back. We need financial reparations.
Yes.
You guys are complaining that, like, oh, Black people, like, oh, can't do for themselves. And they're, a bunch of leeches on the system, which is not true. I mean, like I said, we built this country.
Yeah.
We built a lot of the wealth that you guys never paid us for. And granted, like, one thing I, like, studied is a lot in for my master's degree was, what is the wealth of nations? Like, there is government, but there is not enough government in the world that can replace the private sector. And the private sector has benefited so much from slave labor. Even to this day, you'll see Amazon products being made in prisons because those people have been returned to a state of slavery, because the 13th Amendment has that caveat that says that if you are convicted of a crime, you can be returned to a state of enslavement.
I better wake up, y'all. Pay attention. Like I said, for those that already know, I appreciate y'all, tuning in with us tonight, because the moment you sent me this email, I knew it was important, and I didn't just want to rush to put it out there, because with these type of stories, it has to be done right. And what you did tonight, Ms. Burns, it's an amazing job at just being able to pull out those receipts, because a lot of people, talk. They don't really have a lot of facts to back it up. We're in the era now, sports debate. Everyone wants to control the narrative, but are these narratives based off actual facts and information? That's how we can pretty much sift through all of the clouds and the distractions and things of that nature. And like I said, I just want to applaud you for putting in the work, bringing this to the audience this evening, man, for real.
Well, I want to appreciate, I really appreciate you. Thank you very much for helping me to get this out there, because I think this is a very important thing that not a lot of people are aware of. And even to a lesser degree about the algorithms that basically are seeking to control and dominate our lives, and that are only going to become more and more prevalent and dominating within our lives. So it's important to know who's controlling the purse strings, who's controlling the legal strings, and what their reasoning is. Be it a political end, a financial end. There is, all of that needs to be taken into consideration. We can't just be blind consumers. We have to actually pay attention, be aware, and be alert.
Yes. Stop repeating the same old mistakes when, we have so many of our past elders who made the sacrifice, was the example. Yes. So you can, learn and pretty much avoid all of these hurdles that are placed within our communities and our culture. Like I said, this is something that is very exhausting, because we're in a time where people refuse to use logic, common sense. Everything is based off emotion. And it's hard when you're trying to raise awareness with sheep, with people that are willing sheep, that really have more fight for the system that's in place to keep us down, rather than taking that energy and enlighten themselves with the truth. So that way they can be more prepared for what's coming next, because a lot of people for decades speculated something as serious like COVID. The vaccines, the microchips, all of this stuff was discussed for decades. New World Order. You can go back and watch old X-File episodes. They were taught nothing's new under the sun.
No.
The only difference is every generation, it's our responsibility to educate ourselves, inform ourselves with the truth.
Yes.
I have a lot of books over here, but at the end of the day, if you're not reading them, and I don't, I haven't read them all, but there's something that, it's a must. You have to value the information that you retain as much as you value the video games and the shoes and everything else, because the moment you stop retaining information that benefits you and your family and your people moving forward is the moment you really stop becoming wise, man. You really become extinct the moment you stop retaining new information, in my opinion. That's just how I feel.
Absolutely. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Right. Yes, that is so true. Miss Burns, how can the folks here get in contact with you if they have any questions about wanting to take the same career choice that you did, learning about analytics and things of that nature? How can they get in contact with you?
Well, certainly, I am actually available. You can reach me at Jessica. That's JESSICA .L as in love
Okay.
.burns, and that's BURNS at gmail.com. I also, my LinkedIn is, I'll go ahead and send that to you
Okay.
so people can have, because I'm always happy to invite more people to join this field, to learn together. And, I mean, we're not going to have all the answers, but we got some,
Yeah.
and there's strength in numbers, right?
True.
And so that is also a great way to contact me. And if you're, not opposed to, a little bit of naughty language and swearing,
Right.
I
Right.
can
Right.
also be reached on my Twitter account which is at Astyonics, ASTAYONIX.
Okay.
And it's like some Japanese characters. It's one of the languages I speak, so I put it out there, but that's me.
Okay.
And so I will go ahead and send that to you as well.
Please do. Please do.
Anyone who would like to join this, don't drown yourself in debt. I have a lot of free stuff for folks to leverage if they want to join this profession. It's very rewarding. It's a lot of fun, and it's great getting to see the dots connect.
Wow. Well, like I said, it's been a pleasure having you on this platform. I look forward to continue to building our relationship, having you on again, because again, this is what the platform is about, raising dialogue and awareness and bringing our communities together to kind of break through all of the agendas that keep us divided, right? To keep the divisiveness in our households and our communities. So just having you on, man, I learned something new. So I just want to say I appreciate you for coming on. Um, do you have a Cash App or anything of that nature that people can support you in your cause? I only say that because what you do, you take time. Okay, you went to school for what you do. A lot of people, they always want to pay for services, not realizing you're not just paying for the services. When a person goes to school, put in the time to work, you're paying for the experience because you were too lazy to do it yourself. So that's the only reason why I asked, did you have a Cash App or anything like that to donate to your cause and what you actually do? If not, that's okay. That's fine. I just wanted to be cordial and respectful. That's all.
Well, I appreciate that you asked that. I actually do not have a Cash App or a PayPal. Maybe one day in the future I will.
Right,
but
right.
For right now, I do not. I just love my community. I want to give back, and I think that I feel blessed. I feel that as a person who grew up the way that I did in the time that I did, I learned a lot and I owe a lot. And so I am trying to do my part to just spread the word.
You're definitely doing that. And, like you just said, man, we all have a part to play.
Right.
At the end of the day, we have a lot of opinions and we're entitled to our opinions. It's all right. But at the end of the day, man, the results are shown in real life out there on the front lines, on the grounds level. It's rare that you see a lot of change occur on YouTube. Okay, guys, in real life, you're really out here getting active with your communities, doing the best that you can. It's an everyday job. It's always something that needs to be addressed and resolved and dealt with. And I'm a type person that believes that there's always room for improvement. So we have to get to a space where we can be criticized by our peers, constructive criticism without it being, deemed very emotional or being deemed as a hater. We have to get past all of that if we're going to truly restore our communities, because it's obvious the people that are in control, that are in power, politicians, the ones that we voted for, okay? And I ain't gonna say we as in we and me and you, but the individuals that did, you have to understand that these politicians, their only agenda is to push narratives and pander
Right.
if it's only going to benefit them at the end.
Absolutely. I mean, after all, you saw Joe Biden make all sorts of promises. You saw Barack Obama make all sorts of in the end, nothing changed, nothing happened. I mean, I go to, that's why, regardless if you're Republican, Democrat, independent, I don't care. I mean, it's at the end of the day, they all serve the same masters. A lot of people are like, oh, like America's is a country. I was like, America hasn't really resembled a country since the 1960s. At this point, America is just like, 3 corporations in a trench coat. Just like that. Those kids who like stack themselves up trying to be an adult and like they're
little rascals at the bank.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, man. It's America's 3 corporations in a trench coat. Come on, man.
Man, that's so true. And also, there's so many free things that they're giving away.
Yeah.
If you take this vaccine, I mean,
yes.
they're telling inmates they can get free conjugal visits. They're giving out free lottery, free cash. You got all these communities that's been hurting for over a year because of the pandemic, and now you just every day giving away 40 grand if you get the vaccine. I mean, you have to question all of these things as to why for decades when we we complained about the lack of resources, opportunities, jobs in our communities.
Right.
For decades, and it was falling on deaf ears. And now in the past several years, gentrification is upon us. And there is this illusion that they really care about us in our communities, but in reality, they don't, guys.
Absolutely not. That's why, like I said, ownership is very important. Don't wait for some politician to save you. They're not. Don't wait for some rich billionaire to save you. They're not.
Right.
They're not. I mean, like, they're off in space, like, congratulations. But you know what? I got to live my life here on Earth right now. And so I'm going to do for me and my family and what's best for my community. So, just, know that no one is coming to save you.
Yes, that's so true. Thank you, Ms. Burns.
Thank you.
Tonight was a pleasure. Like I said, I look forward to building with you in the future, guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. What we will be doing this week, hopefully tomorrow. We'll see how it is if you are available tomorrow evening. And what we'll do is live stream it. And I'll have the split screen. You can come on. We can watch it together with the audience, and then have some guests chime in and really have a conversation so we can get this out to to our people so they can be informed and aware of what's really going on and who's really behind this, okay? Because in our culture, it's a reason why they chose Juvenile. It's a reason why they went to Lil Wayne, because okay, you're strapped for money and cash, but you're not realizing that you're walking into a landmine when you put your people in a sacrificial position. So Juvenile, Manny Fresh, Mia X, be mindful that they're using your image, okay? Because they see it, you as dispendable, okay? It is what it is, you can be replaced. Yes. So guys that's, had 20, 30 years in our culture, are you willing to sacrifice everything that you've created, the respect, right? All for a dating app and a small check that in today's economy, that thing will be gone.
Probably be gone. I mean, even when Juvenile was, like making the rounds, going on, CNN, going on TMZ, basically because everybody knew that this wasn't coming from a genuine place. He was like, oh, I'm just trying to get the word out about, C19 and, the act scene. And, I'm just trying. Where were you 10 years ago? Where were you 6 months ago? Where were you? I haven't seen you do any PSAs, other than this one. This is like your one and only. And, it's real weird that it coincides with this collaboration between, this app and, which they would never push to any of the other affinity apps.
And that's a good point that you make, because I haven't seen any commercials for those other apps that you spoke about.
Exactly. You haven't, have you?
Not one ad or commercial hasn't popped up in my algorithms in my store or anything. So it makes you wonder, guys. It makes you wonder.
It certainly does, and I mean, even when he was like on his hobo tour, trying to, say, oh, this is coming from a genuine place, he had like some trinkets in the background that he was selling, and it's like, man, he really needed that bag.
It's unfortunate, man, because you want to have respect for these individuals,
Yes,
but at the end of the day, when you put the people, the culture in this position, man, you then put yourself in a position where you're now looking like the opposition. So,
absolutely.
but one point you made before we go, you talked about, if you really felt the need to put a PSA together, why did you only talk about vaccines? I mean, there are
Right.
other things that need to be addressed in our community, but
Yes,
financial literacy, the
absolutely.
the crimes in our police. I mean, all these things that
Yes.
affect Black community, but you left it with vax that thing up.
Well, like I said, we know who drove a dump truck full of money up to his house. Match.com. Yeah, financial literacy didn't. I guess J.P. Morgan Chase didn't drive a dump truck full of money up to his house.
About to say, man. Well, they're known for having big cargo ships full of contraband. So
Oh, absolutely.
that's what I mean about these headlines, and what you will see that make the breaking news and the ticker over the other headlines that you would think would get more attention, but apparently only things like this do they continue to push as far as the agenda, and making sure that it just caused mass hysteria and confusion within our culture.
Yes,
Because through all of this, there are real people that need guidance, that need help transitioning out of this. Everything hasn't been restored since this whole pandemic, and of course, our people are always the ones that suffer first because we're on the
yes,
ground level. We don't have any people coming to our aid. Simply when we have to wait for government, they can't aid everyone at once. So this is why we have to start collectivizing, coming together, and being more self-sufficient and independent for ourselves.
absolutely.
You know.
Yes. Don't ask for a seat at the table. Build your own.
Mm. Well, with that being said, guys, this was Late Night Gems with Miss Jessica Burns. All the information will be in the description box below, and I look forward to you guys chiming in on the conversation when we premiere this on the live. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ms. Burns. Till next time. My name is
All right.
SenseiRip. See y'all, man. Woo! Talk to me, what y'all think, man? Huh? What y'all think, man? First and foremost, I want to say thank you. If you stuck around for this whole episode, I appreciate y'all. None of this would be possible without the support and appreciation that I get from you guys. The information that we gathered tonight, please take it and use it, to your own liking, man. I would never force what I believe on anyone else. So again, take this information and make the decision, for what's best for you and your family. Again, I've seen a lot of people in the chat tonight saying this was a conspiracy theory. Look, do what you feel, okay? We just giving you the information so that way the people can make the decision for themselves, all right? So with that being said, we are about to have a collective of content creators on, people that's been in the chat. I just ask y'all to be mindful that we have other guests on, people that's already in the room waiting. I appreciate y'all for your patience. We're gonna have a good time tonight, y'all. We're not just gonna troll. We're gonna really have a dope dialogue and really build. That's what we're gonna do. So let's bring on some of our guests. First and foremost, we got brother Freddie Chico in the building. How you doing, Freddie?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm all right, brother. I can't complain. I appreciate your patience. Next up, we got Gravity Takeout. What's going on, my brother? How you doing, man?
What's going on, Black man? You good?
Come on, man. I'm blessed. You hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We good.
All right, and we got Chocolate Cream. How you doing this evening?
I'm well. How are you this evening?
I'm all right, man. Thank you. Well, we're gonna do this, ladies first. How do you feel about the video tonight in this episode? How you feel?
Well, to be honest, I came in at not the tip in, but I came in at mid center, and she was dropping just information that I kind of knew about from just other educating myself. My thing was when I saw the juvenile, I guess let's just call it a commercial.
Mhm.
When I saw the juvenile commercial, that's the thing that made me did not want to back that thing up. To be quite honest, it
Right,
was
right.
very expensive, and it was pandering on the lowest level to what they think we are.
Mm.
So it was using, and juvenile is from my era. So
Mm.
they're using someone that's from a, not say bygone because I'm not that old, but they're
Right.
using someone from an era that's going to try to reach like older folks, and then using pandering of sexuality for honestly for the young folks. And even both ways was awful. It was awful. So, and I
Right.
think it was a bit racist on. So that's what I honestly thought. And the young lady just kind of gave just receipts to what and why. So
Mm.
it's a lot of us are already on the radar with it. And as soon as we saw it, it was like it gave us a stamp like, no, we're not doing it. Just for that reason, we're not doing it. So that's my true opinion of the situation. I think that we need to really honestly take a look at why they're like honestly giving this to us, why are they making it apparent in this way to us versus other races and cultures. And
Mhm.
then we need to take a hard look at it. What is actually that they're trying to offer? So they never offered anything to us in history before that. Like they wanted to give us all types of, I guess, injections and all types of things in the past, and it was actually diseases themselves just to watch what goes on with us. So, and that's proven already. So now we're just, for me, I'm just waiting, and we're just trying to stay healthy, eat your good food, eat your better vegetables, try to get off the meat, and really try to if this vaccine, to be quite fair, we just gotta wait and see, to be honest. That's my true opinion of the situation.
Well, thank you, Miss Chocolate. I appreciate you for giving your take. Come on, Freddie, get up in here and tell me your thoughts on this stream, brother.
All right, I got 4 points I want to address. First, being a part of the medical field,
Mhm.
I am really getting irritated with all these non-medical people claiming to
Okay.
be medical experts.
All
Like,
right.
if you don't know how to put on a band-aid, stop talking about what you know about medicine, about what you did when you went to the doctor and your pee hurt and all that good stuff. Stop it.
Right.
90% of the people that are running their mouth have no idea what they're talking about. And old girl that was on, it kind of got the vibe, and I don't know if you for yourself,
Go ahead.
a
Speak your
lot
piece, man.
of
Speak your mind.
anti-democrat vibe behind it. It's like she talked about Obama, she talked about Biden. At no point did she talk about Bush. She didn't talk about no Trump. And there's plenty of stuff you could have said about both of those cats. So it kind of sounded like she was a big, Trump supporter, that kind of thing. And it's like, how do we? Wasn't that long that Trump was in office, and we just kind of just forget those 4 years, and we skip and go talk about Obama's aid and Biden's current time, and it's always the Democrats are always, trying to get at black people when their or their criticism about the pandering is like, let's make this make sense. Yes, I would say we need to be step 5, step 6, step 7 in the process, and Democrats may have no desire to go past step 2, but Republicans ain't even trying to go step 1.
Mm.
So yeah, we definitely need to go step 4, 5, and 6 and push and stop being happy with step 1 and step 2 with the Democrats. But to say that Republicans are even better or even close is mind-boggling. And the last point I want to bring up is the seeking reparations is not getting saved or waiting to be saved. I don't want to build my own table. I already built that table. I want to be the head of that table that I already built. 400 years of us slaving and dying for that table that they're enjoying the benefits of it. I want to build another one. Nah, I'm coming for mine. That's what I got to say.
Respect, Freddie. I appreciate you for coming on, speaking your mind.
Sir.
I mean, whether we agree or disagree, it's important that we at least have a space to, get off how we truly feel, man. First and foremost, next up is Gravity Takeout, brother. I appreciate your patience, man. Another dope content creator. Y'all make sure to go over there and subscribe to Gravity Takeout. He almost at 10,000 subscribers. So come on, y'all. Let's get him over the hump. How you feeling this evening, brother? What are your thoughts on this episode this evening?
Say I'm good, my brother, man. I'm gonna get short and to the point, man. Anytime I feel as though anytime you see the rappers or they get a rapper to push the agenda, you know it's something behind it. Anytime they over sexualize in a video, when you see all these women twerking and doing all this, it's something behind it. You get what I'm saying? Whether you want to take the vaccine or whether you don't, just understand that anytime you see those two things and they pushing that type of agenda to our people, it's a reason why they doing it. It's up to you guys as to what you want to do or what's best for your family. But what I will say is, I do agree with the sister when she said something about the HIPAA law and things like that. It do feel as though with this vaccination thing is the only time that the HIPAA don't matter. It seems like, they come straight forward and like they told my lady with my son, they can't accept him if my children is not willing to get the shot, so on and so forth. So it's kind of like, they almost stripping you of your right, in a way, because my children is not even able to go to a certain pediatric place. If my kids or my lady or however it works out don't get the shot. So, of course we move a different direction than that. But at the end of the day, I do agree with the brother that just spoke. I do think the last lady, I don't care what your political belief is. I do think she was overly one way. But at the end of the day, her research that she did, she may just be passionate about it, and salute to her. But yeah, man, anytime you see women shaking, overly sexualized and they got a rapper to push the message, it's probably something behind it. So, that's all I want to say about it, buddy.
Hey, bro, as usual, dope perspective. Y'all make sure to go over the Gravity Takeout channel, subscribe to his platform, man. We got another brother on, Jim's TV. Hop on in here, man. What is your thoughts on tonight's episode, brother?
So the wild part about it is information is information. And, I hear a lot of Democrat, Republican people blaming politicians. At the end of the day, everybody has the ability of reason. Everybody has the ability to decipher the information that's given at any given time. So with that said, being a person who had COVID, at this point, I've already been through that traumatic experience. I know how it feels, and I still haven't gotten the vaccine because I don't trust it, because I feel like it's being shoved down my throat constantly everywhere I go. Like, when you working at some of these jobs, they're offering $100, $75, $85 if you took the vaccine. They add it to your check. They willing to add it to your check. And then a commercial like this comes out, and it's a bunch of propaganda, and they using people who are in desperate need of the limelight again. You get what I'm saying? Like, not to say that, Juby is not welcome in the House of Hip Hop and we don't love him at the House of Hip Hop, but a lot of his time has passed. So in order for you to basically get back your limelight, man, we need you to do this. We need you to do this commercial. It's going to get you some views, and stuff like that. And I just feel like, what is the point of pushing this vaccine down our throat? I mean, and it doesn't matter, how you personally feel. They're going to feel like they can shove it down our throat because they're our government. They want to get back to the money. It's almost 2.5 years where the country has suffered and not being able to open up 100%. And there's businesses losing money, grants and things like that they lost out on. They need that back. So they're rushing it. They're going to make sure that they get everybody vaccinated within their time frame so they can open back up the country the way they want to. There's tours being stopped. There's all type of things being stopped. due to this pandemic. And if you lose your money, or if you lost out on a lot of money, you're gonna push that. You're gonna push the vaccine. Businesses are gonna push it. All of that. So I don't trust none of it.
Right. Listen, man. For those who don't know, that was Jim's TV. Y'all head on over there and subscribe to his channel. Another dope content creator. Like I said, I appreciate you guys for coming on and giving your take. My thoughts on this. I don't want to get too deep, into the whole political thing, Freddie. I understand we all have our take on, who we are, Democrat. Just the end of the day, do your research and understand the agendas, regardless of who you on, who's giving us the most results, right? Who's more beneficial to our communities? Because at the end of the day, both sides, in my opinion, don't give a damn about us. It's all about the dollar and the grain. And this is what makes it such a very dangerous game, because I don't know, man, this needs to be treated very seriously, man. The media, there are a lot of deaths that's being reported behind this. Johnson & Johnson, they actually had a couple sites that were shut down because of the symptoms that was contracted after taking it. So, when you start to try to control the information or try to, put that under the rug and push all the shenanigans, it really makes you wonder, what's very beneficial to us. But at the end of the day, this panel here is not telling you what to do. It's on you to make the decision for yourself, Like I said, this whole PSA thing, of course, it was mask and blackface. This is the oldest trick in the book. This is what they do. They've been doing it. And at the end of the day, we talk about, people on YouTube and how we like to take shots at each other. How about we start utilizing this platform to expose the truth, man? Because they can't stop the truth. The truth is the truth. It's going to always break through the light, regardless what we say on the panel or not. You know what I mean? There's no emotion attached to the truth,
Question.
Go ahead, Freddie.
On the last guy, brother, how do you spell that? You said Jim TV?
Jim, GEMZ TV 187.
GEMZ?
Z, yep, TV, yes. And if you go to the feature part on my channel, you'll see all of the content creators that I support. So just go over to the feature channels on my list, on my channel actually, and you'll see all the content creators. But yeah, that's Jim's TV, man. What is your thoughts, Freddie?
Yeah, I want to respond on what he was saying about the $85 being, an incentive for people to take the vaccine. Understand, and I don't know for a fact, but I believe the reason for that is that the companies are getting an incentive that they're going to get paid $200 for every person that they get. So they get
that makes sense.
A little chip off of what they're getting, because it's all about how much money that they can make on that. And y'all check me out, Freddie Chico Show. I'm on
yes,
YouTube.
Sir. Yes, sir.
I got my man Gravity Take. I still haven't found the Jim's guy.
Don't worry, Jims. Just put your information down in the chat section so the guys can come on over and support, man.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
But,
it's all right. Come on, Gravity. What's your thoughts, man? Just about all this information, do you feel like the agenda is only being pushed on the Black community?
Of course, you already know that. I mean, anytime they go take a rapper, it's no different. I do agree with the ladies. I mean, I want to call her a lady because I really don't know her name. I can't recall her name.
Right.
She talked about the same thing when you seen Cardi B with Joe Biden and all that. I mean, anytime they go to push a rapper, a musician, I mean, a guy that, you know what I'm saying, and they bring the over sexualizing type of point of view, that's when they trying to highlight our community much more than anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Because they know a lot of us, we creatures are falling in love with the music or the character. And that's where we started get our mix up and different things like that, in which where we fall for the musical guy, even though these guys will fall for money and they're even sacrifice the youth in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It don't even matter as long as the dollar sign is right. They willing to go do it. So yeah. And to piggyback on what the last brother just said too, I agree with that too, man. If they got the 85 or whatever, that mean they make it more. That's just how the game go.
Listen, it's funny because it's a reason why they utilize the rappers, because at the end of the day, they feel like they can be replaced and they're going to take the bulk of the criticism. The first thing that people did when they seen this PSA was call out Juvie and them. They didn't think about the dating service or who owns the company. So it just makes me mindful, or just makes me wonder, rather, why do hip hop artists continue to put themselves in this position? We talking about, a song that's deemed a classic for at least 2 decades, and now you trying to ruin your whole image with a PSA that's really not responsible,
No, that's real. And then for you to even have this type of conversation, it's a salute to you, brother. Double salute, because a lot of guys ain't willing to stick their hand in this type of fire, and you willing to do that with your platform. So, just for you having us on board, and the lady as well, I just want to salute to you, brother, and say, man, that's a real move for you, man. And Juvie, he say he still goes on tour off of that song. You feel what I'm saying? For him to sacrifice that for a viral moment, that's crazy.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, brother. Like I said, what would be the point of this platform if we didn't push boundaries, if we didn't raise awareness, create dialogues that, lead with some type of substance. At the end of the day, all we hear is the criticism about the negativity when it comes to the content on YouTube. But when it's conversations like this needs to be pushed to the forefront. We need more of our people to chime in and really give their, they 1-2 on all of this, because we the ones hurting on the ground level. No matter where we at, we all got a hood, in our cities and states. So it's like we got to start, using the technology to our advantage, and in hopes to combat this. Because at the end of the day, no politician, no artist, no actor, no entertainer is gonna come save us, man. We got to think for ourselves, and we got to fend for ourselves. You know what I mean?
That's real.
For real, man. But like I said, I appreciate y'all for coming on. For those who don't know, Gravity Takeout just had a child, man. Salute to you, brother. Being a father, I know that's a tough responsibility, for a lifetime, and you taking on that challenge, brother, in 2021, man. Good luck, bro. Do what you got to do, King.
Hey, respect, King. Love, bro. Love, respect all y'all on the panel as well, man. Blessings to your family.
Listen, I seen a video on Gravity Takeout's channel. Looking out for the homeless. We got to start giving back, man. We take, but what about the people that's in need? That needs help. We go past them every single day, y'all. So, like I said, that's my intention with this platform. This won't be the only time we have these real conversations. I seen people in the chat saying, watch out, YouTube might pull the string. I know how they get down, but luckily we still here, man. We still here. So, like I said, guys, y'all want to come on before we wrap this thing up. We got a good 13 minutes. I want to finish it off around the 2-hour mark. So, Gems TV, what are your thoughts, man? Do you feel like Juvenile and Manny and Mia X can come back from this?
Possibly. But most likely, they're already kind of in the dark, because they've been gone for a minute. Like Manny Fresh, he do his production, his DJing, and his little bit of touring. He can do that, and Juvie does his touring. And I haven't really, I don't really know what Mia X is doing these days. But I do know that the people, once they decide that you out, a lot of times you out. But you come back respectfully, apologizing. I mean, there ain't really no apologizing you do. I mean, we know you did it for the bag. You know what I'm saying? That's apparent. You feel what I'm saying? And whoever did it for the bag first, they probably pulled the others in. Like, that's how it happens most of the time. But you had a point where you said, we expecting like people expecting politicians. It's the people. The people have to do the work. We're our savior. If we don't save ourselves, nobody else is gonna, if it doesn't benefit them, they're not coming to save us. Just like with the Juvie situation, it doesn't benefit them in this particular moment to think about the overall well-being of the people. So it was a selfish motive and with a selfish agenda. So at this point, I don't think they can come back from it in my eyes, because I'm looking at it like, okay, did you have the rest of us in mind when you made this decision to do this commercial? You didn't. You didn't think about the overall effect. You thought about that right now type of situation, and that's very selfish. But I expect nothing less, because you're talking about us as a people where We've been beat down. You know, we've started with nothing. We have so little sometimes that, you know, we're so afraid that when we reach a height that we're scared to go back to that bottom. We'll do anything to keep us relevant. You feel what I'm saying? And that's I believe that's the downfall of us most of the time. You know, we'll stab our brother in the back, kick him off the top of the bucket before he gets over, not even thinking that, yo, he might take that string or that rope and throw it back down for somebody else. You know, we don't give each other that chance. We knife in the back all the time, and I don't like it. You know, I frown upon that. So yeah, I don't think that they can come back from that. To answer your question.
Listen, you know, I really feel like we got to do more because we so quick to cancel each other. Meanwhile, the people that's really behind this, the culprit behind this, are these folks that's up in these offices, man, working for Match.com and all these, you know, they're the ones that control the analytics. They're the people that are trying to study us through algorithms every day. I know I'm not the only one. You know, you'll think of something and then it pops up on your timeline. We got to start, you know, going past surface level and really get to the bottom of this, because at the end of the day, you know, how are we going to prevent this from happening again? There's so many attacks on our communities. How do we prevent things of that nature, you know, from affecting our communities? Because hip hop, movies, all of that has a great deal influence on the youth. What are your thoughts? I see Miss Chocolate still in the room. I just want to have, you know, your perspective on it. What are your thoughts, man?
Oh, thank you. To be honest, I think that business ownership, like a lot of us, a lot of Black people, I mean, from the 60s, 70s on back, own their own businesses. So they were able to make decisions, and that's how we had that community. Whereas now, and this is my mother's generation, they was moving, like a lot of my mother's generation, into government jobs, into jobs in the private sector, and moving them away from small business. So now you have a whole lot of us who don't even understand what small business is about, and how you doing one job and I'm doing another job, and everything is small, but we're buying from each other. One person knows how to fix and do plumbing, another person knows how to make soap, another person knows how to cook, another person sews, and we were buying from each other. So then we were able to empower each other. Now we don't have that. So in a lot of ways, we need to really move back to a small business space. Chocolate Cream Beauty is my business. It's not my name. That's my actual business. And in that, you know, it's soaps and butters, but I'm able to help my children. I'm able to do things. And then my husband, he has a trade. He's 6 figures with that trade. He didn't go to college. So you don't need to put so much money into Sally Mae pocket in order for it, and all the government loans and this, that, and the third to make your bread. You can have what Kwame is saying, Kwame Brown, salute to him, that he is saying and speaking up about trades and coding and things of that nature. Because like here in New York, you know, a plumber's trade to get you could buy a house here in New York. So those types of things, it still is very real, but they have been moving us towards, let's say, customer service jobs and moving us out of that trade position. Now we don't have, as far as Black men and women, we don't have those trades. We don't have small businesses, and that right there, now we're slave to be a consumer for everybody else. Every other community has their hand in our community's pocket. You have the Asians who have the beauty supply stores. They also have the vegetable and fish. You have the other races that come in and they have the bodegas. They have everything else. Where we used to be the ones that had all that stuff in our community. So now that's the part that we have to do. There's other nations with it, like here in New York. There's other people that, like the Jewish population here in New York, they're huge, they're strong, and they only buy within their community. Their dollar circulates 7 times in their community before it leaves the community. We don't have that. So that's what I think we really need to focus up on. It's not even about what they're doing anymore. It's about what we're doing. Like we save so much money. I save so much money on earned income because we have a small business. So the taxes from the earned income that 6 figures, then that comes over into our small business, and then we actually don't pay the Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam pay us because of that business. So we have to kind of really start taking a look at that and really start, and all of us can get a LLC, can get something, and take your money that you're earning, and then your accountant, you and your accountant can sit down, and that money can go into a Schedule C. The next thing you know, you're getting money back because you have invested in your business. So we got to get back to that before we can even ask anybody anything. We had a strong economy, and especially in the 50s, the 60s. My grandmother owned a business. Those types of things really, that gave you a voice. We don't have a voice today. That's my comment, guys.
Man, thank you. You know, you spitting that hot fire over there. Gravity Takeout. I'm just curious, brother. What are your thoughts on this new campaign that they're doing now, where they're talking about going door to door and basically asking people why they haven't partaken in the vaccine? What are your thoughts on this new agenda that President Biden and them are getting ready to implement in our communities?
Hey man, I just want to say this real quick. To piggyback with that queen, that the lady that said was speaking on the HIPAA, what I spoke on earlier, right? How can they go door to door asking you about anything about whether you've been vaccinated, so on and so forth? That's like somebody, let's just say they can't go door to door and get to asking you whatever your chart is. You know what I'm saying? Like
right.
Door to door asking somebody about a vaccination. You know what I'm saying? Because in hindsight, right, that still falls within line of HIPAA. How, when it's dealing with COVID, you don't have your HIPAA rights no more? So to answer what you're saying, I'm gonna leave it at that. How can you come to my door and ask me did I get the shot or not, and I got HIPAA on my side? I'm leaving it at that, bro.
Listen, man. You see the Jedi mind tricks that's being played on our people, y'all. And you have to be mentally strong to be able to see through all the smoke screens. All right, put down the distractions, all of these things that they shoving in your face. Meanwhile, someone's behind the scene puppeteering all of these things, right? It's no coincidence that they're willing to go to the length of knocking on your door. You know, in some of the most craziest communities, why would they, risk coming into the communities now when before they didn't even want to, acknowledge us and our existence in the community? So again, man, you have to be mindful,
Yeah, another thing, man, they like when it used to be flu season and everything, they come to our doors asking, do we get the flu shot? So why is it so highlighted so much that when it comes to the vaccination of the COVID, they got to make sure they're knocking on the doors? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That makes me think that it's something deeper that, us as who we are need to really, really pay attention and for those that haven't already gotten a shot, make sure you do your homework if you decide to go that route, because they didn't knock on your door and ask you if you want the flu shot or no crazy stuff like that. But when it comes to COVID, they making sure they're trying to, you know what I'm saying?
No, you're right, bro. You're right. Like I said, you got to start thinking for yourself, man. You can't be a sheep and automatically assume that the high establishment that B is going to always do what's best for our people and their interests, man. We already know that the means is money. That's going to always be the means, right? At the end of the day. So, Jim TV, what are your thoughts on these companies, masking behind blackface, pushing their agendas in our communities, Jims? I know you have a take on that.
Well, essentially, it's basically like, okay, if you look at it from a large scale perspective, you look at it from a wide perspective, it's basically like, okay, how can we get this certain group of people to buy into what we're selling? Okay, we're gonna use their people, their ideals, stuff that they love, things that cater to that group of people. And if we can get them to buy in, we've got them. It's just like, when you listen to the music and it's like, okay, we're spiritually, we're a group of people who has always been in touch with the music, right? So if you play the songs that we like, if you put the women or the men that the young ladies like in our faces, wearing the clothes that we wear, the style that we identify with these people because they are us. So if you put our people in front of us to sell us something that you want us to buy into, 9 times out of 10, you feel like we'll buy into it because for the sheep, we'll buy into it because that's our people. Oh, it's nothing wrong. Just like the lady Jessica Burns mentioned earlier with the nurse that was black in the Tuskegee experiment.
Yes.
She walked them right into the trap. So they're using our own people against us for their evil agenda. Okay, they won't take the vaccine when we tell them. But okay, let's go get these people that they love so much. They love the song. They love this guy. He's an icon in their community. You know, it's somebody that the kids used to look up to. This song is a classic song. You know, this person is somebody who they identify with. Let's put him or this group of people in front of that group of people so they'll buy into the agenda. And they're thinking, oh, most of them are not smart enough to pick up on that. That's where they're wrong, because they don't even understand. They haven't been around. The thing that the thing that ticks me off with the media is that they put the stereotypes on us. Yeah, we do some of it to ourselves. We help them do the work by not acknowledging the fact that we're already in a trap. So when we do that and we buy into the gang culture, not wanting to work hard, and we just gonna hustle, stand on the corner. So for the people who do that, and some of them don't have a choice, let's be clear, in some of their situations, they don't have a choice. So they see that they demonize us, they criminalize us. So when they see us in the media, everybody think we're a certain way, not knowing that there are different types of people in our culture group. So with the different types of people that are in our culture group, they assume that we're all unintelligent and we're mindless. They look at us like we're really monkeys.
It's like a episode off of Boondocks, right?
Yeah, like honestly, that's how they always treated us. They treated us like we're less than. So they don't even understand it. Most of us will pick up on that. Y'all playing games.
Right.
And we have to change that narrative. Every time
so
we have to change the narrative.
That's so true. Brother Freddie, let me ask you a question, Brother Freddie. Do you think that is wrong for people to be on the fence when it comes to taking the vaccine? You know, or do you feel like people should just automatically assume that what they're selling is accurate as they pushing in the media? What are your thoughts on that, man?
Everyone should have a doubt. You don't know the next person, what their motives are, no matter if they could be really close people, versus a stranger. So I'll never say that about people who have reservations. Because there's different reasons why you can have reservations. It could be the conspiracy of the Tuskegee experiment, one thing. Or for me personally, I've always had problems in the military with when we got forced vaccinated. It's like the whole purpose of a vaccine is to prevent you or to make the symptoms less if you take it. But every time I was given it, I'd have the worst flu ever. Every time they gave it to me. So I always got, in my mind, I can't do that. So that's me personally. I'm not saying for the next person. There's a lot of people that had no problem with it. And I was saying before, it's like I've never been a fan of Juvenile. And even me, I was hoping this was like a bad voiceover. I said, I know this can't be a whole song. This can't be a whole song redone. And he got all these, okay. We are giving them, especially with the music that we have today, giving them all the reason to think we are dumb enough to fall for any kind of thing. I mean, the Popeye's chicken, we killing ourselves, we fighting over Popeye's chicken sandwich, we doing some foolish stuff. So like, yeah, they'll take it, vax that thing up. And somebody's like, yeah, that makes sense. Just like in the schools, hey, we can't teach them regular. We got to teach them with some songs. We got to teach them with some hooks and this, that, and then they'll learn how to count, and then they'll learn how to read. Because just regular reading, these black people are not going to figure that out. I'm not a fan of that.
No, man. I respect that, Brother Freddie. Come on, Gravity, get up in here. I'm just curious of, what do you think should be our next steps, as far as course of action to be able to avoid these agendas, man?
Man, hey, that's a strong question, brother. To be able to avoid it,
Yeah.
I mean, they've been had their agendas, man, and it's up to us to be more stronger and understanding. That's why knowledge is power. You know what I'm saying? When you understand what they're trying to do, then you can work as one as to, you know what I'm saying, showing them that we understand your agenda. So we're not gonna go for it. You know what I'm saying? So as long as they know we got weak links, it's always that opportunity into which where they can insert a juvenile, so to speak, right? When
Right.
people get hard up for money, they'll do anything for money. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to understand, man, the character of the man. Don't let the money make you compromise who you truly are, because it's a lot of kids watching you, and they don't really understand the agenda that's getting pushed. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
to piggyback, I just want to say something to piggyback off that what the brother just said right before me. Man, the flu shot, right? This real, right? You know what I'm saying? The flu shot. I never got the flu shot in my life. Never had the flu in my life. One time I was at work when I was younger, man. I'm like, you know what? It is upstairs. You can get a break off the line. I go back upstairs to get the flu shot. Every year after that, I caught the flu. You get what I'm saying? That's what made me understand that, when they come in with all these different vaccinations and things like that, it's just not for me. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you have somebody in your household, that's, at risk and things like that, then I don't know, you may need to go another route. But anytime I got vaccinated from different things, I started to catch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I get it. I understand. I felt the same way at work because at some jobs they do force you to have to take that flu shot. If not, you gotta walk around with that hot ass mask. This was pre-COVID, right? So and it's funny, right? The irony. Fast forward a few years later, now everybody wearing a mask as if it's the fashion trend. One thing I would say, y'all, I hope that y'all take this information this evening and use it, to benefit whatever it is going on in your home. Like I said, this episode isn't to sway a narrative or push anything. This was to raise awareness, enlighten you with this information so you can make the best decision for yourself. I appreciate everyone that took the courage to come up here on this panel today to talk about this here particular topic. Like Brother Gravity said, these topics, man, they're working hard, extremely hard to control the narrative. I mean, I made posts about this live early on Instagram. Of course, it got hit with fact checker. I find it hilarious, man. The folks that was pushing the lies and propaganda now telling you what's a fact and what's not a fact. Y'all got to be hip to the games that's being played. But like I said, I appreciate each and every one of y'all that came on tonight. Make sure y'all hit that
Hey,
thumbs
bro,
up.
let me cut you out one time. I know it's just no disrespect.
Go ahead.
But that's why people gotta salute you, bro, for sticking your hand out there, man. Wanting to spread that message and bringing people that you feel like is good to say a few things about it. Man, we gotta salute you, bro, and your platform and your audience, man. I wish you and your family well. I wish your page much success, brother.
Thank you, brother. Well, since we got you here, please let the listeners know where they can find you and reach you, brother.
Gravity Takeout everything. Gravity Takeout at Gmail on across the board. Right over there. You guys can type in Gravity Takeout on YouTube and find me as well. I appreciate the opportunity, King.
Thank you, brother. Anytime. Like I said, another solid brother Gravity Takeout that I came across on my trails on YouTube. And naturally had his support. Another brother in a similar situation like me trying to jumpstart our platform off the ground. So we ain't got to keep making these bums rich, at the 9 to 5, you know what I mean? So thank you, Gravity, for coming on. Y'all, come on now. Y'all make sure to get this man to 10,000 subscribers. I need y'all to do that, man. The brother works hard every day. He got merch coming on the way. I see the t-shirt over there. Y'all stay tuned, man. Stay tuned. He working. Next up, Freddie Chico, I need you to, tell the people where they can reach you.
Definitely, the FreddieChicoShow.com, as you can see right here.
Yes, sir.
Get here on Facebook, the Freddie Chico Show, Instagram, the Freddie Chico Show, YouTube. You can just search the Freddie Chico Show. I keep it very simple. No topics off limits. We talk about anything. Just keep it clean. Religion, politics, relationships, and of course, hot trending topics. Hit your boy up.
Please do subscribe to his channel. Another dope content creator. Gems TV. Please let the people know where they can find you, where they can reach you on our platforms.
YouTube is Gems TV 87. Instagram is Gems TV is Gems K the Dream 87. Man, and they my two platforms.
All right, brother. I appreciate you for coming on. Y'all got to make sure that we support each other, man. We support the bigger platforms and complain about all the support that they get. So it's on us to support, the smaller content creators so we can get to that point. And lastly, it's weird calling you Miss Chocolate, but can you please let them know where they can find you to hear your dope perspective?
Thank you. I don't have a YouTube channel, but I do own a bath body, and I call them dessert bath bombs and Lux skincare line, and we're on Instagram at Chocolate Queen Beauty. That's
There
it.
you go. Thank you, Queen. I appreciate you for coming on. I appreciate having all the guests on this evening, everybody that tuned in for this whole session. Don't let these people tell you that we can't come together and build and do something positive with our platforms. Don't sit here and let them lie to y'all and spin that narrative as if all we going to talk about is Hassan and Kwame beef. No, we going to really start having meaningful dialogues and bringing our people together. It's nothing holding us back. So tonight is a prime example of that, and we're going to continue to evolve, elevate, push the boundaries, and I'm going to continue to use my platform to help others build their platform because it's enough for all us to eat, y'all. So with that being said, I love each and every one of y'all that tune in. Y'all just stay tuned for the next live, man. Like I said, I'm over here by myself, one-man army, whipping this thing up. And like I said, we just going to keep moving. Nothing but peace and prosperity to everyone here tonight. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you need any information on promo or anything of that nature, hit me up at Forgotten Kings TV, and that's with Kings with a Z at gmail.com. If you have any questions about YouTube, anything like that, don't hesitate to hit me up in the email. I'll be sure to reach out, man, because this past week and a half has been, it's humbling, to be honest with you. I've had so many people hit me up, just wanting information, just wanting a network, and I intend to utilize it, man. That's what this shit is all about. So with that being said, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evenings with y'all families, and I see y'all at the next light, y'all. Till next time, I'm out.